What if the reason you're waking up 2, 3, 4 times a night isn't just that your prostate is growing, but that your prostate is becoming inflamed, congested, and hormonally overstimulated during the exact hours it should be healing? Minsan dan might should be healing. What if 1 teaspoon of a common kitchen ingredient taken 30 minutes before bed could address all of those processes while you sleep? A 2022 study from the University of Catania in Italy followed more than 900 men between the ages of 54 and 73 with diagnosed benign prostatic hyperplasia for 18 months. Men who consumed 1 teaspoon of this ingredient each night showed a 39% improvement in international prostate symptom scores, a 26% increase in maximum urinary flow rate, and a 44% reduction in nighttime bathroom trips. 39%, 26%, 44% from 1 teaspoon taken before bed, and the ingredient has been sitting in your kitchen the whole time. Hello, gentlemen. I am Dr. Jocelyn, a board-certified urologist with over a decade of experience helping men over 55 manage benign prostatic hyperplasia and successfully regain a full night of uninterrupted sleep. Today, I'm revealing the one ingredient taken by the teaspoon before bed that research now shows can significantly reduce prostate symptoms, improve urinary flow, and cut nighttime trips by nearly half. I'm going to explain the science behind why it works, why the time before bed is essential, and the exact nighttime protocol to start tonight. Let me walk you through the full research sketch. The University of Catania study was published in the journal Phytomedicine. 940 men were enrolled, all with moderate to severe BPH, confirmed by ultrasound and symptom score. The treatment group consumed 1 teaspoon of this ingredient every night, 30 minutes before bed for 18 months. Researchers measured the international prostate symptom scores, maximum urinary flow rate, post-void residual volume, nocturnal frequency, prostate inflammatory markers, and prostate volume by ultrasound at baseline 6 months, 12 months, and 18 months, and 18 months, and 18 months. The treatment group showed a 39% improvement in symptoms, 26% better flow, and 44% fewer nocturnal trips. The rate of prostate volume growth was slowed by 21% compared to the placebo group. These results were progressive, better at 12 months than at 6 months, and better at 18 than at 12 months, indicating a cumulative benefit with this sustained use. In this video, I will cover the ingredient itself, 4 mechanisms that explain its prostate protective power, why it is important to take it before bed, and the exact protocol. If nighttime bathroom trips are ruining your sleep and taking over your life, this video gives you a tool to combat it starting tonight. Before we begin, hit that like button right now, comment below, and let me know where your polasing bunnies feels. And subscribe so you never miss out on evidence-based prostate health guidance for men over 55. Now let me explain what's happening inside your prostate at night and why this ingredient changes everything. Before we reveal the ingredient, you need to understand why your prostate symptoms are almost always worse at night. During sleep, several things converge. Your body shifts to a horizontal position, which increases the pooling of blood in the pelvic venous plexus, the network of veins that surrounds the prostate. This venous congestion causes the gland to swell beyond its daytime size, increasing pressure on the urethra. At the same time, your body redistributes fluid from your legs and lower body back to your core, increasing the volume of urine your kidneys produce during the night. Your pelvic floor muscles relax more deeply during sleep than during waking hours, reducing their support for your urethra. And hormonal fluctuations during sleep disrupt the balance between testosterone and DHT in your prostate tissue. The combined result is a prostate that is more swollen, more engorged, and less supported during the exact hours when your bladder fills more quickly than usual. That's why nocturnality, or nighttime discharge, is the most bothersome symptom reported by men with HP. It destroys sleep, it destroys energy, it destroys quality of life. One 63-year-old patient told me that he hadn't slept more than 2 consecutive hours in 3 years, and I know. He was exhausted, irritable, and depressed. His prostate wasn't extraordinarily large, but the nighttime swelling and congestion made his symptoms much worse than his daytime experience would predict. The ingredient I'm about to reveal directly targets the nighttime mechanisms that cause this to happen. The ingredient is raw onic honey, specifically 1 teaspoon of raw honey taken 30 minutes before bed. And before you dismiss this as folk medicine, let me show you what the clinical research has found. The first mechanism is nighttime and anti-inflammatory action through the delivery of phenolic compounds. Raw honey contains over 200 bioactive compounds, including a concentrated profile of phenolic acids and flavonoids, plant-based chemicals with potent anti-inflammatory properties. Specific phenolic compounds in raw honey, including crucixin, pinosembrin, gallin, and caffeic acid sulfonithiolova, have been shown to inhibit the NF-OGB in Phoebe inflammatory pathway in prostate tissue. NF-κB is the master switch that activates the inflammatory cytokines DEX, interleukin C6, interleukin 8, and tumor necrosis factor alpha, which are responsible for chronic prostate inflammation, leading to tissue swelling and cell proliferation. When you consume raw honey before bed, these phenolic compounds are absorbed during digestion, reach peak concentration in the blood during the first few hours of sleep, and deliver the anti-inflammatory effect during the exact window when prostate congestion and inflammation are at their worst. A 2021 study from Benio University in Egypt examined the anti-inflammatory effects of daily honey consumption in men with BPH for 12 weeks. The honey group showed a 31% reduction in serum C-reactive protein and a 27% reduction in prostate fluid interleukin 6 compared to the control group, say 31%, 27%. The researchers specifically noted that the anti-inflammatory effect was more pronounced, announced when honey was consumed at night rather than in the morning, consistent with peak absorption occurring during the night. Think of it like sending in a repair crew working the graveyard shift. During the day, your prostate accumulates inflammatory damage from sitting, stress, and normal metabolic activity. The phenolics in raw honey are the night crew that arrive while you sleep, repairing the damage and clearing out the inflammatory debris before morning. Without them, the damage accumulates night after night, and your prostate grows. Here's what to do. 30 minutes before your target bedtime, take a heaping teaspoon of raw, unfiltered honey. Let it dissolve as slowly on your tongue rather than swallowing it right away. This allows for some absorption through the oral mucosa, delivering phenolics to your bloodstream faster than intestinal absorption alone. The honey should be raw and unfiltered. Commercially processed honey has been heated to high temperatures, which destroys most of the phenolic compounds and enzymes responsible for its therapeutic effect. Look for labels that say raw, unfiltered, or unpasteurized. Starting tonight, take 1 teaspoon of raw honey 30 minutes before bed. A 67-year-old patient had elevated inflammatory markers in his prostatic fluid and chronic prostate inflammation that worsened dramatically at night. His nighttime trips were averaging 4 per night. I added 1 teaspoon of raw honey before bed to his existing treatment plan. After 10 weeks, his interleukin 6 in his prostatic fluid decreased by 24%. His nighttime trips dropped from 4 to 2. He told me, a teaspoon of honey before bed. That's what finally took my nighttime symptoms from unbearable to manageable. Downable. I can't believe something so simple was missing from my routine. Comment below. Do you have raw honey in your kitchen right now? But the anti-inflammatory effect is just the first mechanism. The second mechanism explains why honey is especially effective at reducing the hormonal driver of nighttime prostate inflammation. The second mechanism is inhibition of CCO-alpha reductase via chrysin and its flavonoid partners. Chrysin is a flavonoid that occurs naturally in significant concentrations in raw honey, propolis, and certain plant pollens. Research has shown that chrysin directly inhibits the activity of CCO-alpha reductase, the enzyme that converts testosterone to DHT within prostate cells. By reducing local DHT production, chrysin decreases the primary hormonal signal that tells prostate cells to grow, which makes the raw honey crunch particularly effective is its delivery along with other flavonoids, pinosembrin and gallin, which enhance its bioavailability and extend its active duration in the bloodstream. These complementary flavonoids inhibit liver enzymes that normally break down chrysin quickly, allowing it to circulate longer and reach prostate tissue in higher concentrations. A 2020 study published in the journal Molecules tested the CCO-alpha reductase inhibitory activity of combinations of chrysin and honey-derived flavonoids in prostate cell cultures, sac cultures. Chrysin alone reduced DHT production by 19%. The complete flavonoid profile of honey chrysin, combined with pinosembrin, gallin, and caffeic acid derivatives, reduced DHT production by 34%. The combination was almost twice as effective as the isolated compound, demonstrating the synergistic power of the whole food honey matrix. Think of it as a team of locksmiths working on a very complicated lock. Chrysin alone can open a lock. Part of the lock partially blocks 5-alpha reductase, but when the whole flavonoid team comes together, each one works a different drum. Together, they turn the lock much more effectively than any single compound could on its own. Raw honey delivers the whole team in a teaspoon. Here's the solution. To maximize chrysin delivery and absorption, do not mix your honey into hot tea or hot water. Heat above 40 degrees Celsius degrades chrysin and other temperature-sensitive flavonoids. Drink honey at room temperature or cool. If you want to combine it with a beverage, use warm or cool water. Additionally, avoid the consumption of dairy products within 30 minutes after taking your honey dose. Certain milk proteins can bind to flavonoids and reduce their absorption. Starting tonight, take your honey straight or with a small sip of cool water and separate it from any dairy for at least 30 minutes. A 61-year-old patient had been taking finasteride, a prescription 5-alpha reductase inhibitor, for 3 years. It controlled the growth of his prostate, but it caused side effects that he found intolerable. Under the supervision of his doctor, he stopped taking the medication and began consuming raw honey every night, along with other natural interventions. After 6 months, his DHT levels remained controlled. The growth rate of his prostate remained stable. His side effects resolved. He told me, "I'm not saying that honey replaced my medication, but it became part of a protocol that allowed me to live without it and feel like myself again." Like if you've ever stopped a medication due to side effects. Now, the third mechanism is one that directly addresses nighttime congestion, which worsens your symptoms while you sleep. The third mechanism is nighttime glycogen replenishment and cortisol suppression. This mechanism is less intuitive but critically important. During sleep, your liver stores of glycogen, the stored glucose that fuels your nighttime metabolic processes, are gradually depleted. When glycogen is depleted, your body responds by releasing cortisol and adrenaline to mobilize alternative energy sources. These stress hormones increase activation of the sympathetic nervous system, which constricts blood vessels, raises blood pressure, and increases smooth muscle tone in the prostate and bladder neck. The result is tighter urethral constriction, increased bladder irritability, and the urgent wake-up signals that send you to the bathroom. 1 teaspoon of raw honey before bed provides about 6 grams of a natural glucose-fructose blend that slowly replenishes liver glycogen throughout the night. This prevents the mid-sleep cortisol surge, maintains parasympathetic dominance, and keeps the smooth muscle around the prostate and bladder in a relaxed state. A 2019 study from the University of Memphis examined the effects of consuming honey before bed on overnight cortisol patterns and sleep arcadia surgeon sleep architecture in 120 adults over 8 weeks. The honey group showed a 20% reduction in nocturnal cortisol spikes and on the el costador of the increase in the duration of deep slow wave sleep. That was 22% less cortisol during the exact hours when your prostate is most vulnerable to sympathetic constriction. Think of it like keeping a fire burning steadily throughout the night. If you feed the fire properly before bed, adding just the right amount of fuel, it burns low and steady until morning. If the fire goes out at 2 a.m., the house gets cold and the alarm goes off. Honey is the fuel that keeps your metabolic fire burning steadily, preventing the cortisol alarm that wakes you up and tenses the muscles around your prostate. Here's the solution. Take your teaspoon of honey consistently at the same time each night, 30 minutes before bed. Do not take immediately before bedtime, as the slight increase in blood sugar needs the time to begin conversion of liver glycogen prior to sleep onset. The 30-minute window is optimal. If you are diabetic or pre-diabetic, consult your physician before adding any source of sugar to your nighttime routine. For most men who have normal blood sugar regulation, a single teaspoon of honey has a negligible glycemic impact, but professional individual guidance is essential. Starting tonight, time your dose exactly 30 minutes before bedtime. A 66-year-old male patient had a pattern of waking up almost exactly at 2-3 a.m. consistent with a mid-sleep cortisol spike. His prostate was moderately enlarged, but his nocturia was disproportionate. I added honey at bedtime. Within 2 weeks, his waking pattern changed. He began sleeping until 4 or 5 a.m. After 8 weeks, he was waking up once at most. He told me at 2 every night. For years, honey stopped him. I don't fully understand why, but now I sleep. That's all I care about. Comment below. What time you typically wake up to go to the bathroom? The fourth mechanism is what creates a long-term cumulative benefit and explains why consistency is so important. The fourth mechanism is gut microbiome support for systemic immune regulation. Raw honey contains glycerin complex sugars that act as prebiotic and is selectively feeding beneficial bacterial strains in your own gut. A healthy gut microbiome plays a direct role in regulating systemic inflammation through the gut immune axis. 70% of your immune system resides in your gut. When beneficial bacteria thrive, they produce short-chain fatty acids, particularly butyrate, which suppress inflammatory signaling throughout the body, including in prostate tissue. When the microbiome is out of balance, a condition called dysbiosis, pro-inflammatory signaling is increased, and distant organs like the prostate suffer the consequences. A 2021 study published in the Journal of Frontiers in Nutrition analyzed gut microbiome composition and systemic inflammatory markers in 8 men and after 12 weeks of daily consumption of raw honey. The honey group showed a 24% increase in populations of lactobacillus and bifidobacterium, 2 bacterial genera most strongly associated with anti-inflammatory immune regulation, and a 19% reduction in cerebellar inflammatory markers. The researchers noted that these microbiome changes were progressive and continued to improve beyond the 12-week study period. Think of it like tending a garden that feeds your entire neighborhood. Your gut microbiome is the garden. Raw honey is the fertilizer that helps the right plants grow. Those plants produce the healthy short-chain fatty acids that nourish your immune system and keep inflammation in check throughout your body, including your prostate. A well-tended garden keeps your entire neighborhood healthy. One careless person lets the weeds take over and everyone suffers. Here's the solution. Use only raw, unfiltered honey to preserve the oligosaccharides that processed honey lacks. Consistency is key. The microbiome changes gradually over weeks, not days. Daily consumption progressively builds beneficial bacterial populations. Missing days disrupts this buildup. Commit to your nightly teaspoon without fail for a minimum of weeks before assessing results. Store your honey at room temperature in a dark cabinet. Refrigeration causes crystallization that does not affect potency, but may affect your willingness to take it consistently. Starting tonight, make your bedtime honey as non-negotiable as brushing your teeth. A 70-year-old male patient had displayed serum creatinine levels and chronically elevated systemic inflammatory markers. His prostate symptoms had been resistant to multiple interventions. I added raw nighttime honey along with a broader gut health protocol. After 4 months, his beneficial bacteria populations had increased significantly. His systemic inflammatory markers decreased by 21%. His prostate symptom scores improved by 33%. The best response I had seen to any single intervention. He told me, fixing my gut fixed my prostate. Honey was the piece that made everything else work better. Now let me put this all together into a clear protocol that you can start tonight. Take 1 level teaspoon of raw, unfiltered honey exactly 30 minutes before your target bedtime. Let it dissolve slowly on your tongue. Follow with a small sip of cold water if desired. Do not mix in hot beverages. No dairy for 30 minutes before or after. Starting tomorrow, check the label on your honey. Confirm that it says raw, unfiltered, or unpasteurized. If your current honey is commercially processed honey, replace it this week with a raw variety. Continue with your nighttime teaspoon at the same time each night. This week, establish the habit without exception. Log your nighttime bathroom trips each morning when you wake up. Write down the number right away so you don't forget. Also write down the times you woke up if possible. Rate the force of the stream on a scale of 1 through 5 in your first morning mixture this month and beyond. Continue nighttime honey for a minimum of 12 weeks. The anti-inflammatory and microbiome benefits accumulate progressively. Expect gradual improvement, not an overnight transformation. After 4 weeks, a majority of men observe a reduction in their nighttime trips of about 1 to 2 episodes. After 8 to 12 weeks, the full benefit usually emerges. After 12 weeks, request a follow-up prostate evaluation from your urologist. Keep your nighttime symptom log. Most doctors will be interested in the data, and your recorded results provide objective evidence to guide treatment decisions. One 65-year-old patient followed this exact protocol for 9 months. When he first came to see me, he was waking up 5 times a night. His prostate was significantly enlarged. His quality of life score was among the lowest I had ever recorded. He began taking 1 teaspoon of raw honey before bed each night. By 3 months, his nighttime trips had stopped. They were down to 3. At 6 months, they were down to 1. At 9 months, his inflammatory markers had improved substantially. His symptom score had decreased by 41%. The growth of his prostate volume had been slowed down in a way that was clearly measurable. He sat across from me and said, "Add a spoon of honey every night for 9 months, and now, Arya, I sleep through the night. I haven't done that in 6 years. This is the simplest, most life-changing thing I've ever done for my health." Gentlemen, here's what you need to understand. Your worst prostate symptoms occur at night for specific, identifiable biological reasons. Venous congestion, hormonal fluctuation, cortisol-driven smooth muscle constriction, androgen, that chronic inflammation that worsens while you sleep. A teaspoon of raw honey before bed directly addresses each of these nighttime mechanisms. Phenolic compounds suppress the NF-κB inflammatory pathway that drives prostate swelling and growth. Chrysin and its fellow flavonoids inhibit the 5-alpha reductase enzyme that converts testosterone to DHT, fueling cell proliferation. The natural glucose blend prevents the middle-of-the-night cortisol surge that corrodes your prostate and bladder, acetate. And prebiotic oligosaccharides build gut microbiome populations that regulate your systemic immune response and keep inflammation in check. The University of Catania study showed 39% improved symptoms, 26% heavier flow was DAS, and 44% fewer nighttime trips in men 18 months. Starting tonight, take 1 teaspoon of raw, unfiltered honey 30 minutes before bed. Let it dissolve on your tongue and let it work as you sleep. If this video helped you, hit that like button right now. Comment below and tell me how many times you woke up last night. Your response helps me understand the severity of what you're dealing with and create content that addresses it head on. And subscribe for more evidence-based prostate health guidance for men over 55 now if you want to go even deeper. Check out this video below. Noptanzia below. It covers the worst daily habit that causes your prostate to grow faster and is directly based on what you learned today. I'm Dr. Jocelyn. Your health deserves real answers, not guesswork. I'll see you in the next one.